All right. Welcome back to Views with Hughes, your Jennifer News. This is Jerome Hughes, and I'm here with special guest WDW Pro for part two of the interview. Pro, how you doing now?
Happy to be back, sir.
All right, glad to have you. Glad to have you. Okay, so want to start off by talking about a certain celebrity right now who has really made a name for herself in a bad way. Rachel Zegler. Okay, so with everything that's going on with her, you made a video. I'm pretty sure a few videos with others, if not by yourself, not with only with Jonas, but possibly even with Culture Casino as well. So, do you have any and any additional thoughts you didn't cover in the previous videos that you might have on the whole situation with Rachel Zegler? You want to share?
Well, there's a very simple way that Rachel Zegler can get out of the predicament she's in right now. And that predicament, of course, is that um, now business analysts are starting to say needs to bring in a crisis PR management firm to deal with Snow White. They don't want to have another Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny situation. But the simple solution for Rachel Zegler
Mm-hmm.
is all she has to do is say, I'm young. Sometimes I'm brash. When I say some things, they can be misinterpreted. But I want everybody to know that I love Snow White. I'm so honored to have this role. And I look forward to doing something that will honor Walt's legacy and the legacy of that fantastic historical movie. Period. Rachel Zegler is not going to do that, it
Yep.
doesn't seem. And that seems to me to be because she's a narcissist. So I don't know any other way to look at this because if there's an easy solution for you to stop the bleeding, and the way to do that is to, in a very small way, present yourself as not being absolutely perfect. And by the way, none of us are perfect. And you refuse to do that.
Oh no, not at all.
I don't know how to help you.
Well, the thing is, it seems to me like she's lacking accountability because of some of the fact that she didn't come forward and admit that she was wrong. She didn't admit
Well,
that
she
she
doesn't
was
think
wrong
she's
with the
wrong.
things that she said. Of course not. I mean, but she's actually, the biggest, okay, aside from, Shazam, Fear of the Gods, I can't even think of another film. Well, she's possibly in the latest Scream film and stuff. I could be wrong. I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. But what other major significant accomplishments as an actress did she actually make aside from getting the role of Snow White?
She has been in a number of flops. She's been in a number of movies that were expected to be blockbuster successes, and every single
Mhm.
one of them has been a failure. I think that Snow White is her last chance before this starlet is sent somewhere else because Hollywood loves these types of people, but they do not love losing money. And so, Rachel
Mhm.
Zegler, unless she can help them make money, she is going to find that Hollywood is no friend of hers, and that is going to be a rude awakening.
Yeah, and on the ad riddled Daily Mail site says here that Snow White star Rachel Zegler, who's 22, is slammed as a fake feminist by people on TikTok and accused of gaslighting Disney fans. Has as resurfaced interviews show her repeatedly trashing the original cartoon from 1937. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and read the summary of it. It says here that she's going to play the Snow White in the upcoming live action Disney remake. And she was also in the West Side Story, which is another flop. The West Side Story actress admitted that she was scared of the original film and branded the storyline weird. And she also stated that Prince Ferdinand, whose name was actually given in the actual lore itself, but I believe in the movie itself, it was Prince Ferdinand, called him a stalker. And then there's also people on TikTok slammed Rachel for being so smug and condescending for her comments about the Snow White not dreaming about true love. In other words, she kept saying that she's looking to go ahead and find her spot in there. So, what are your thoughts about those comments that she stated before?
I think that the idea that Prince Charming from the original movie is a stalker, that comes from a juvenile mind that has spent almost no time whatsoever considering archetypal stories. Prince Charming is a representation of the very best form of masculinity. He doesn't have even a name because he is simply an icon. Uh, Prince Charming
Mhm.
approaches Snow White when she is asleep and in her most vulnerable state, and he gives a very small kiss, which is true love's kiss, which in the story, is explained by the fact that these two have met before, etc. But he does not force himself upon Snow White in her most vulnerable state. He comes to her rescue, and the metaphor that exists for Prince Charming kissing Snow White is that once you enter into a forever relationship with someone who is going to be by your side, a companion, you wake up, and the world around you
Yep.
is very different than forevermore after that. Now that's, that's the ideal. Okay, we all know that in real life many times you have relationships that break up, but we're talking about the ideal, and that's because we're talking about an archetypal story. Now, I'm not sure that Rachel Zegler, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but I'm not sure she knows what the word archetypal means. So she has put very, very little thought into what this movie is actually about. It is timeless, it is centuries old.
Mhm.
It is talking about very deep ideas of proper versus improper femininity. It's talking about how young women have to navigate the world in the face of improper femininity and navigate the world in spite of improper masculinity, and how it is that when you combine proper femininity with proper masculinity, then you create something that is able to withstand and stand up against the worst of humanity. And so
Oh yeah.
Rachel Zegler has not considered, I don't think, any of those things. She's speaking about this story from the point of view of someone who I think has, um, well, not a very deep understanding whatsoever. And so when you have someone who has this kind of a stage and has been given this kind of a role, and they fail to understand the depth of it whatsoever, you just have to say to yourself, if she's this naive, perhaps Disney should have given her a publicist by her side the entire time to prevent this kind of a scenario. Disney does not
Yep.
want their original princess and their original prince to be portrayed this way. Disney does, as wacky as Disney may be, they don't want their Prince Charming being called this.
Oh
That's
yeah.
insanity.
But I also think that Disney did have someone to actually tell her to say these things at those two interviews with Variety as well as the D23 alongside with Gal Gadot, okay? Because she doesn't have an actual publicist that can protect her as a they will not protect her, who can help her into stating things that should be said when it comes to interview questions. But Disney provided for one only for the Disney projects and everything, and then that's about it. But it's not a good look for Disney because once again, we when it comes down to that, Disney has actually dug itself a grave once again. Okay, but going on TikTok, it says here that the user who goes by the handle of Cozy with Angie criticized Rachel for failing to acknowledge that women have the right to pursue whatever they want. I mean, she probably figured, you state that the, hey, all these things happen in Snow White and everything. I mean, why not say, about being an actual feminist? Because right now, the things that you're doing right now doesn't really make you a feminist. You're not even a true feminist. But in reality, guess what? Like, let's be fair. Like, current day feminism is not the same feminism that was happening back in the 70s. Okay. But that's a different story for a different day. So it also goes here stating that someone else captured and post just because a woman values something different does not make her any less valuable. Some women want a career and not marriage. And then it says here, some women want a marriage or family and not a job. Some women want both. All are to be heard and seen and valued. So it seems to me like every woman from different perspectives on all angles are coming after her. What do you think, Pro?
Well, I think that I think her situation is that she has come out in a very arrogant manner, and whenever a young person who has been lifted into stardom at such an incredible rate comes out and is not humble in the least, and simultaneously so wrong, I think that people from all over the spectrum are going to be very displeased with you. And she's really put herself in a corner. At this point, it would do her well just to say, I'm not always the most articulate. What I'm trying to say is, I'm so honored to play this role and I love the original. And she should just stop there because she is exceedingly bad at speaking to the press or expressing her views. She is not views with Hughes because you, as opposed to Rachel Zegler, are quite good at telling the folks out there what it is that's on your mind. And maybe she is good at telling what is on her mind, but it's definitely not beneficial to the movie studios when she does so.
All right, want to talk about one more thing before we end right here. You released a couple of videos before with somebody who share with you some possible details that could be rumor and everything of one of the like two of the most iconic superheroes from the Marvel universe, and that
Hmm.
being Spider-Man as well as Wolverine. Not just Wolverine, no, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, stating that there may be a possible collaboration between the two from a movie as leaders from for the new Avengers. Or am I wrong about that? So share with us like what's going on with that.
So 14 months ago, we did an exclusive reveal on the Valiant Renegade channel where I talked about Hugh Jackman receiving a multi-movie deal with Marvel. And then a few weeks later, we had confirmation that he was going to appear in Deadpool 3. However, there was no multi-movie part of that. And so people were a little bit skeptical and said, well, Pro, you got it halfway. There's no there's no multiple here. Fast forward to today, 14 months later, and yes, apparently the source was correct, and Hugh Jackman did sign on to play Wolverine multiple times. Now we're finding out that he's going to be playing Wolverine for Secret Wars. Of course, that's one of the biggest movies that's going to be happening for Marvel. And the fascinating thing is that, according to the source, Kevin Feige is looking to try to course correct. Maybe Iger has given him the impetus to do so, and they're getting away from some of these very low tier kind of heroes. The Victoria Alonso Mantle strategy seems to be over, and instead
Mhm.
they're going to go with their A-listers. They want to put Wolverine and Spider-Man together. The very interesting thing, I think, is that when I made this announcement, the audience, the viewers out there were basically like, Marvel's already dead. It's already damaged. We don't care anymore. And that's amazing to me because 5 years ago, if this announcement had been made, you were looking at probably a $2 billion movie by putting Hugh Jackman and Tom Holland together. Now, not so much.
Yeah. That is true, but seems to me like the fans may like the only way to get those who even those who might have said who said that it's dead, the franchise is dead, is bringing back the OG characters and also focusing, bringing in the big name heroes and stuff that hasn't had their stories told yet. Okay, so but the fact of the matter is, if this is if this is actually going to happen, then for many people it might be too late. But me, I think that Bob Iger, he made it might seem like he may be doing a course correction, but I think this is going to try one last attempt to go ahead and try to go ahead and get all the woke ideology put into these movies somehow in a more subtle manner. Okay,
You're saying that Miss Marvel could be leading the Eternals one day.
if
It's
not, if
terrifying, Hughes. It's terrifying.
who's to say that the Eternals will try to make a comeback? I mean, that's
Well,
the
I'm with you
one
on that.
that's the one Marvel movie I had I saw for the first time on Disney Plus when I had the subscription and stuff, and I had to fast forward through the movie.
Understand that. It was not a good movie whatsoever.
All right, Pro, tell the people where they can find you once again.
Well, folks, you can find me over on the WDW Pro channel, and I'm sure that Hughes has the link in the description here for the video. Folks, we put out new content each and every day, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time and 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as well as the Pro Show Live, which is every Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. You want to check it out because we are there explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve, and telling you all the news that should be fun.
All right. Thanks a lot, Pro. And I also want to thank you all for joining in. If you enjoyed what we discussed today, go ahead and smash the like button and share far wide across social media. If you enjoyed all the content I put out there, go ahead and smash the subscribe channel, click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Also, I want to let you all, I want to know what you all think about this whole thing. What are your thoughts on what Rachel Zegler is doing, what she's saying, so on and so forth? Do you think she can recover from all this, or do you think she's already done? What do you think about the whole Marvel situation? Are you actually looking forward to Spider-Man and Wolverine collaborating, or are you also looking forward to more of the big name superheroes? Do you think that Kevin Feige really is trying to go ahead and do a course correction under the direction of Bob Iger? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Like I said, smash the like button, share far across social media, click the subscribe channel button so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Until then, peace.